Hi, Holly. Thanks for joining me from all the way from USA, Norfolk, Virginia, to be precise. How are you doing? How are things over there?
Hi, yeah, I'm really good. And I think that thank you for having me on here. And I just want to say that it's been a couple rough months, definitely for everyone during this time. And I think that for me personally, I'm doing good. I'm doing a lot better than I was last month for sure. There was a lot of confusion about what I was going to do, like with my future and stuff like that. So now I feel like I have more of like a routine and a schedule, but overall I'm definitely doing much better.
I mentioned that you're in Norfolk, Virginia. Of course, you're a native of Middlesex, good old UK. Tell us why you're over in the States.
So I decided to go to American college for 4.5 years ago. So I actually broke my ankle 5 years ago, and it meant that I couldn't play for an entire year, like in the junior ITF season. And I decided that American college was going to be my best move in terms of like my tennis journey, if you will. And I, went through all the colleges, and at that time, I didn't have like a massively high junior ranking. So I was looking for colleges that I wanted to go to that had good coaching, that I liked the team, and the climate was definitely a factor too, I'm not going to lie. So I visited here and I visited Penn State, and I was also talking to Arizona State, but ODU was the one. Within like the first couple of days of the visit, I was just like, yeah, like this is where I want to be for the next 4 years of my life, which is obviously a huge decision. But I just got on well with the coaching staff. I really loved the campus. It's you can walk from one end to the other in about 15 minutes. It had great athletic facilities, and I was just like, yeah, this is what I want to do.
I love this idea of tennis players going abroad to learn their trade. We know that Andy Murray did it. He went across to Spain for a few years. I've spoken to Vic Allen, and now I'm speaking to you as somebody who's part of the US college system. What made you decide for you that you went, right, that's it, Old Dominion University, that is the one for me?
So it's definitely, I looked at British universities as well. I know there's like great programs at Loughborough, Bath, and so many more. But for me, I feel like America, and it has gotten better with the British uni system. I know a lot of great players that are involved in the British uni system. But to me, America had a lot more depth and a lot more players. And I think the competition here is just so set up for, professional tennis after the college experience. And so I came over and I was just like, if I'm going to do, school and tennis for 4 years, I'm going to do it in the mindset of like, okay, I still want to go professional after that. And I felt like ODU was the best place for me to do that. And I spoke to my coach a lot. He knew that my goals after college were to be pro. And he was like, yeah, okay, like, we're going to help you like get there essentially.
It's an amazing story, and it's a story that's not ended for you, because you've mentioned about it's been a whirlwind few months for you, which I'll come on to in a second. You mentioned about living in Virginia. I mean, what is life like under lockdown in the USA right now?
So I'm really, really lucky. I have a really nice house that I live with other athletes in, and I'm on the water as well. So there's a beach like 2-3 minutes, literally. It's a tiny beach. So they haven't actually shut it down completely because it's not considered like a public beach. But yeah, I'm like on the water. I can go like on bike rides with my friends, like stupid stuff like that, just to keep like the mind off the fact that we are in a global pandemic. I can still practice every day, which is huge. And at first they shut all the tennis courts, but just recently in the last couple of weeks, they've reopened like the local courts, so I can go and hit with some of the guys who are still here. And one of my American teammates, she's still obviously here because she lives in Virginia Beach. But the restaurants are all shut. You can still take out food, but the grocery stores aren't as, I said grocery stores, I say supermarkets. I'm turning American.
That's fine. American English is absolutely fine.
I've obviously been FaceTiming my parents like a lot, and my mum, she's been saying how crazy like the food stores are, and here it's not like that. Like I can go in, no problem. a couple of people are wearing masks, but it's not like everyone's wearing masks. So I feel like here is a lot more relaxed. Norfolk isn't a huge city. Obviously there is like a town, and I'm kind of staying away from that unless I'm going food shopping. But yeah, like my day-to-day lifestyle hasn't changed that drastically. I'm definitely only hanging out with my roommates and the people I'm practicing with. They've limited the people up to, I think it's 10 groups of 10, but I'm not really risking it. We're kind of doing only 4 or 5 people at one given time. So yeah, it's definitely different, but it's not as crazy as I know some of the European countries are, and definitely different from back home.
Holly, you've had a whirlwind few months, surgery in your left elbow, and then the season being cancelled because of the global pandemic, but then some good news about signing up for your master's degree. Describe those emotions for me.
Yeah, so it was definitely a complete roller coaster, from getting treatment with my trainer to being told to go to the hospital, to being told that I had surgery, and basically being told that I had a pretty serious injury and having infectious bursitis. And then from getting the surgery, going through the rehab, being back within 2 weeks, which was definitely not what the doctors thought I would be able to do. Then playing 2 matches, to then being told, okay, your season's completely over, college career completely over. And that was just devastating for me. Definitely the hardest moment so far of like my whole tennis journey, because I was so unsure of, you know, do I say bye to everyone that I've been around for the last 4 years? Is there a possibility of an extra year? And I had this period of time for about 2 weeks where I didn't know. The NCAA wouldn't put out anything. And then kind of a 180, if you will, to, okay, they're giving a spring athletes back an extra year. Can I get into masters? Does the school have enough money, etc., etc.? And now, like, I've applied for grad school in digital communication, but it definitely was just like completely upside down, because we were on such a roll as a team, and like me personally as well, you know, to play conference, we were favorites for that, and then to go into individual nationals as a senior is like a big deal, because that's what I've worked towards my last 4 years of my life. So to have that taken away was huge.
And what a sense of relief for you to get to that point of being able to be accepted onto your masters, but at the same time for your family here back in the UK, that must have been a challenging time for them as well. How was it for them?
Yeah, so I talk to them every single day, like on FaceTime. My parents have been amazing throughout this whole process. They asked me if they wanted me to fly, like for them to fly out during my surgery, but I didn't want to make it a big deal. And they basically just said, do what you think would make you happiest and what you think is going to be the best move in terms of like tennis wise. And I just think having this extra year now allows me to have like the closure that I want on like college tennis, and lets me have the opportunity, even if I don't achieve those goals, and have like that, okay, I'm going to have a finish in my college career, so I'm going to have a senior day, I'm going to have a last conference tournament. And I think they have definitely been so supportive in like my decision, especially with doing a master's. I think that's an amazing opportunity for me, you know, to go to grad school. So yeah.
And you come from a very sporting family anyway. Your dad formerly played cricket, your mum's a tennis coach, your sister's an aspiring tennis player. Tell me, who's the most competitive out of the 4 of you?
Oh gosh. It's really close. I would probably say my dad's and me.
Why is that?
Because when we play family board games, we're most likely to get heated at each other. But I don't know. Scarlett's super competitive too. My mum's kind of the peacemaker of the family, so she'll be like, guys, come on, you know, let's all calm down. But me and my dad, we get very, very, very into it, whether it's table tennis, Monopoly is a killer. Uno, we play card games, just anything is competitive with the Hutchinson household. Like anything is competitive. You can make, you know, we'll be on holiday and it'll be like, okay, who can, just stupid stuff, who can do this the quickest, who can do this the fastest, and we'll make it competitive. So I think all round, very competitive family.
I love the setup. But in all seriousness, it probably helped you in a way, because they understand, as a former athlete themselves, or an aspiring athlete, or a coach, they're going to understand the range of emotions that you would have felt over the last few months. How did they help you get your mindset straight?
Yeah, so when I got told the news that my season was over, I immediately called my parents. My whole team was with me. We were all crying. It was a complete mess. And if someone had seen us sitting on the beach, just bawling tears, they probably would have been like, oh my goodness, like what has happened? So I called them straight away, and they were just amazing. I mean, I was crying like crazy, and they just know what it's like. I mean, my dad, playing professional sport, he knows the emotions I feel in a match. My mum has been around tennis her whole entire life. She coached me from a young age. She's been so great. And Scarlett as well, like she knows how that must have felt, because she's wanting to go, and she is going to American University. And she's, heard about all of my stories for the last 4 years, sorry. And, she felt so bad for me, because she knew how much this meant to me. They all knew how much this meant to me. So definitely they've helped me so much. They were just like, okay, take it day by day, see how it goes. Maybe there'll be some news on an extra year. But at that moment, I wasn't even thinking about, oh, maybe I'll get an extra year, because, mainly the NCAA wouldn't normally do that. Like, they're not known as an organization to be giving, if you will. And yeah, I was just devastated for sure, but they were awesome.
And in terms of that devastation, it can be turned into a positive now, because that will hopefully push you in your journey, because you want to become pro, don't you? What is it going to take for you to become a professional tennis player, Holly Hutchinson?
So definitely I'm so motivated for next year. I mean, as soon as I heard about the extra year, I texted my coach and I was like, okay, same goals as last year. Conference title, individual nationals, like top 25 in the country ranked at the end of the year. I was already just so set on it. And I think it's definitely going to make me realize how lucky I am to have the setup that I do in regards to training facilities, having, 2 coaches, an athletic trainer, girls that I love, that are my best friends, I can play with every single day. So I'm definitely more motivated for next year. I mean, I'm a pretty motivated individual anyway, but definitely it's got that extra edge on it now, especially with the surgery and season being cancelled. I'm not going to take any, training session or match for granted. And I think in regards to the next step of me going pro, there's a lot of things I need to work on, within my game, but I haven't really had a time period yet where I've been able to play a lot of professional tournaments back to back, because it has been, revolved around my college schedule. So I might play a couple tournaments here and there that are professional in the summer, but I haven't really had a time to schedule out, I'm going to play this tournament, this tournament, this tournament. And I think once I've graduated and I'm completely done with college tennis, and I can look and set out a calendar best to, help me climb the rankings as quick as possible, I think I'm going to know where I stand in terms of my level, and how I'm going to do, in the lower tier tournaments is going to be a good pointer of okay, this is where you're at, this is your level, and this is what you need to work on to jump up the rankings. Because I don't know where I stand professionally in terms of my level, because I haven't really had that time to play those tournaments. So hopefully it will be encouraging. But what's so great about this opportunity is that I do have a degree if everything doesn't work out.
Oh, I think you'll be fine. I think you'll be absolutely fine.
Thank you.
You'll be absolutely fine. Before before the global pandemic changed a lot of things for people around the world, what were the things that you were working on in terms of your game, without giving away trade secrets, of course?
Oh no, that's fine. No, honestly, that's completely fine. I'm a very attacking player, so the way I play tennis is I go for it. I have my favorite shot is my serve, so definitely big serve, big forehand tennis. It was mainly for me all about execution this year. I've been talking to my coaches a lot about discipline, because if I can sustain a certain level through a match, I'm mainly controlling the tempo of the match, the way it goes. And I think for me, that was what was clicking so well for me this season, was that I was playing within myself, but I was definitely sustaining the level for like the whole entire match. So that was what I was working on mainly, was keeping a level from the start of the match to the end of the match, because being a big shot player, you know, you can go on like streaks within a match where, you know, everything is going amazing, but then I'll hit like 3 shots stupidly or something like that. So it was all about sustaining it and playing like within myself. That was what I was working on.
And what about off the court as well? What have you learned about yourself since being over in the US?
So definitely for me, the main thing is time management. Being a student athlete is tough because I'm trying to, you know, keep my level very professional and be the best tennis player I can be. But at the same time, I'm doing a degree. So I'm going to classes every single day. I have, you know, hours of homework every single day, whilst trying to balance, you know, a normal life of social life, like being with my friends, managing a house. I know that sounds stupid, but it definitely takes up time. Trying to adult essentially in terms of, you know, cooking, preparing meals, getting myself from A to B on campus, whilst staying in touch with my family back home, building relationships with people. And I'm involved in like the student advisory committee. So I'm involved in, I was the social media chair. So I ran the social media of like ODU athletics students essentially. And like I've been on the exec team in that, like the leadership team. So, you know, working on that as well, like being a part, you know, that's meetings, calls, all of that. So definitely time management. I've learned a lot about myself these 4 years, just because I've had to grow up and be independent, living away from my family for 4 years. You know, I've grown up, I think, considerably, just in terms of, you know, knowing how to, like, what a lease is, paying rent every month, making sure financially, like, I've got everything I need. Cooking has been a huge one for me because I've had to cook during this pandemic. Just things that you don't normally think about and definitely take for granted, living with your parents, moving out into a different country, trying to get to know like the culture and stuff like that here. I've definitely learned a lot. Yeah.
And what about you as a person in terms of nourishing your soul? Because it sounds like your schedule is just crammed to the hilt. So what do you do to take, you know, time out to relax, just to be Holly?
Well, I'm very social. So I love, like, my friends I made here, I cannot speak more highly of them. I love these people to bits. And I definitely take time in my day, in my weekend off, I'm with my friends, like with my closest friends, going out to eat, which is definitely my vice. And yeah, just being around my friends is what I do to like just chill. I, you know, love just like being in a house. Our house has loads of people coming in and out of it like all the time, and like going, you know, with other athletes, like to other people's houses, definitely is something I do to just like completely relax and get my mind off of things.
Right, so this is slightly left field. I've got to ask you, why are you so obsessed with pink grips?
So pink is my favorite color. If
Fair
you
enough.
have, I always have pink nails. Like that's my trademark. If you, I've got a pink AirPod case. I have a pink phone. I could, if I showed you my room, it's just entirely pink. I don't know. Okay, so I really love Legally Blonde, the film.
Yep.
And I love how she's a strong female character and the way that she kind of goes about her life. I know that this is totally off topic.
No, not at all. Go for it.
It resonated with me like as a child, and I love the fact that she was kind of this like pink, strong, independent woman in this like world of, you know, lawyers and all of that. So for me, it's like a sign of female empowerment. And I know that sounds stupid, but I definitely love the color and I think it's also really nice. So yeah.
It's not stupid at all. I totally identify with strong, independent women. That's how I want to be, even though, you know, I'm older than you, but that's how I am how I want to be. I want to be strong and independent. I like pink too. I've got several.
Yeah. It's so
Don't be ashamed. It's
yeah.
fun.
Yeah. So that's why I have it. And I just, everyone knows, like, around, like, just my friends, campus, they're like, okay, pink, like Holly. It's just, I don't know. It's just a thing.
I love it. So finally, let me ask about the goals of Holly Hutchinson.
Yeah.
Where do you want to be? What is the absolute ultimate for you as a tennis player?
So the ultimate goal is to be the best tennis player that I can be. And so when I say that, I mean, once I've finished with college and I am playing pro, I don't know, again, like, how that's going to look in the rankings, but I know that within my game, and, like, I believe that it could be to a high level. And I think if you don't believe it, there's no point in even trying. So I think definitely just trying to reach the best goals that I set for myself once I've started out professionally, whether that means I win a couple 15Ks, whether that means I'm playing Grand Slam qualifying, I don't know. But I think for me, it's just going to be improving my game and just being the best tennis player that I can be for myself. So when I look back on me trying to play a tennis career, I look back and I go, yeah, like, I did everything I could do. If that's at a certain level or if that's another certain level, I don't know. But I think I love the sport too much to not try. So.
Holly, thank you so much for speaking to me. I've really enjoyed it, and I am totally fascinated by the US college system. My conversations with yourself and with Vic as well has just given me this whole new idea about what it's like to play under the US system. And all the conversations I've had over the last few weeks with tennis players, it's the same. We just want to be the best tennis players that we want to be, and I think that's fantastic. So stay healthy in the States. Keep on with the cooking. Spag bowl is really easy to make. Trust me.
Okay. Thank you.
And I hope to see you on a tennis court real soon.
Me too.